Well, hold on. It's always annoying as F when you're sitting in front of the computer for 40 minutes doing stuff. I've been here talking to Hargeet for the last, I don't know, 15 minutes. Of course, just had a conversation with Kayasante. And what drives me bonkers is I play the wrong intro. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is not the Xbox Factor podcast. Gee, damn it. It is the prime time gaming with Mr. Boomstick and friends that you were hoping for. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the little error, we're going to have one heck of a show. Again, folks, my favorite game of the year so far is a $10 game. That's what's on your screen right now. It is absolutely brilliant. I have 68 of the 100 achievements that I've gotten in the last 3 days. This is called Greed Land. It is $10.39 right now, and it is so incredible. This particular run that you're going to see has me. Okay, so when you level up your powers to like these god tier stuff, which you see on your screen, there's another way to then do it again with the powers where you combine two of them, and you're going to see that it just takes up the entire screen. This is one of the greatest. I don't even know what it's survival, whatever you want to call it, rogue lights, if you will. One of my favorite games of the year, and it was $10, which is incredible. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to get into. We have two tech wizards in the form of Hargeet Chani and Kayasante who know their tech. They understand the back end of these things, the front end of these things, and more importantly, they understand the pricing. And very interestingly enough, at the beginning of the week, we had a leak from Asus themselves. Apparently, someone took a screenshot, and they had the European pricing for both the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. We're going to be breaking down what that means. As a matter of fact, we have a story that was written by Jez Corden, who said some things that surprised me, but after speaking with Kayasante, maybe not as much. But Hargeet Chani, how you feeling, sir? Welcome back.
Yeah, doing well, and yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. Of course, there's always something. Is Xbox dead again? Wait, maybe.
So far, no, but they did put out a still picture commercial that's probably as long as my arm, and there's a game on there that really shouldn't be there, but it is, and I was told that it wasn't coming out, but this may suggest that it might actually release. We're going to get into that to the second half of the show. But Kayasante, how you feeling, brother? We need to start up this Xbox morning drive because we had one heck of a conversation this morning that I was so good, ladies and gentlemen, I had to move it to tonight's show.
So first off, ladies and gentlemen, I co-sign Greedland. He got me hooked on the monkey. It is on my back as well. If you don't want to pay what was it? How much you pay for it? $10?
$10.39, which
right? Maybe you don't want to pay. Maybe you don't want to pay $10. Maybe $10 is too expensive for you. Okay, maybe you're a PC heathen like me. How about $4.95? How does that?
Oh my God!
Same game, $4.95, and it's on this device right here. By the way, excellent game. Anyway, I'm doing great, man. It's good to be back as usual. Fun stuff to talk about. We're talking handhelds, which is my favorite. I have all my friends with me. My handhelds are with me.
Indeed, you do.
We're gonna talk handhelds. I'm good for it. Let's go.
Well, gentlemen, let's get right into the opening salvo, and that is talking about the ROG Ally, or the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. These consoles are coming out later this year. We don't have a specific release date. We have a release year. It's safe to admit or think that it's going to be holiday of 2025. Though I think we might get a release date at something that you have already admitted that you're going to, and that is Gamescom, which happens at the end of August. There is a chance
August
that
20th to be exact.
Yeah, August 20th to be exact. So it is going to be in the
That's when it
third week
starts.
of August, and you're going to be there. And Xbox was there in a big way last year. They're going to be there in a big way this year, not only in presence, but obviously they're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Xbox Fan Fest, and they're doing it in one of the biggest places, and that's Gamescom. Sadly, I thought it was going to be maybe in Seattle later this year at PAX Prime. Turns out that's not in fact the case. But listen, anyone that's going to be going is going to be celebrating. And what a way to celebrate the 10th year anniversary of FanFest and be at Gamescom in a big way than to not only show off your, partnered handheld, but give a release date, which that would be a big deal. But gentlemen and chat, one of the things that happened early this week, we had a leak. And that leak suggested that the European pricing equated to $1,050 US for the Xbox Ally X, which is the big boy. And a lot of people freaked out. And, look, I've talked to a couple people behind the scenes, and some people I talked to said the numbers don't always match, meaning that what the European number is doesn't go 1-to-1 with what it is in the US. But speaking with Kay Asante, who does know his handhelds, the ROG Ally X right now is $899 at Best Buy. It's $900 without tax.
That is tariff adjusted. I have to remind people. I always have to put the caveat in. It is tariff adjusted because before the tariff came to adjust it, it was $799, an $800 device. Now it's $800, $899, a $900 device. $100 difference after the tariffs. So,
and it's already $899 in euros, right? So,
yeah.
So again, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give once again a shout out to Jez Corden of Windows Central. Obviously, he's a phenomenal journalist, and he was right on top of this. And shout out to Paris Lily, who actually posted about it regarding exactly what I said. The number's not always 1-to-1, and he sent a link to Jez's article, which we have in front of us. And I'm just going to read the title. I've already talked about this with Fuzzy on Monday's show, but this is a big topic, and I wanted to kind of pull the opinions of the professionals, and that of course is Kay Asante and Hargi Chani. They know their business, they know their tech. It says the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X prices may have leaked, and if true, according to Jez Corden, it's not as bad as I thought. Now, Kay, I want to go right to you first, because this goes right into the conversation that you and I had this morning on what we like to call the Xbox Morning Drive, which we have to somehow get syndicated, ladies and gentlemen, because it was a great conversation. And we're going to kind of further that conversation. Why is the potential $1,000 price tag to this thing not bad? Because again, that kind of, I was a little taken aback by Jez's opinion. But then you broke it down for me, and it made sense.
So, okay. First and foremost, if you get a sticker shock, right? If you get sticker shock about the price, that's not something that you should feel bad about, right? Because there is definitely a problem in marketing here, right? These are all cars, but not all cars are the same. You know what I'm saying? They all have wheels, but they don't all go the same places and they don't go as fast, right? There's a lot of differences here, but clearly they're all being posed on the same level, and because of that, the sticker shock is valid, right? But the reason why Jez says that it is less than he thought it was going to be is because historically, and this is a quick background, historically, what we're talking about here is the ROG Ally, right? That's what this device is. It's the ROG Ally. And this device is coming out with Xbox is their version 2, right? Let's take a cynical look at it. I know we've seen all of the talk of how they came together and collaborated and whatnot, right? Let's say that for the sake of this conversation, that they didn't do all that. They just built another one, and then Microsoft put their sticker on it, right? Needless to say, that device with the chipset that's in it would average for about $1,500. And we know this because there are other devices out there who have the same chipset variant. Right now, there are two chipsets. We're talking about the big brother that AMD puts in their laptops, right? Which smaller handheld makers also buy at wholesale and put in their devices, right? Those are the ones that sell on Indiegogo and all those things. And then they make a variant of that chip and they call it the Z1 Extreme or the Z2 Extreme, and those go to Asus and those go to those other places, right? So you always know what the Z2 or the Z1 will be like because their big brother is already in the market, right? They usually modify one of the big brothers, and that's what they call the Z1, Z2, right? So we already have handhelds out in the market that run this chip that eventually we will have with this in this Microsoft device, right? The only difference is that one coming out will have a little bit of AI, which we're not sure what that will bring to the device, because that's the unique feature there. But needless to say, we already know roughly what the power level will be and all of that. We have a rough idea of what it looks like. And on average, that device is $1,500 today, right? Now, let me be clear. When I went to the showcase in June, we get a chance to speak with folks, this and that. We heard it on background that, hey, they might be a very aggressively priced. They're looking to very aggressively price these devices, okay? Giving you a device that right now today, the ROG Ally X that's on Best Buy shelves today in America, tariff adjusted is $900. Giving you another device at roughly the same price point, but with a 30% GPU uplift, like far more performant and as it can be told, far better optimized, so the 80 watt-hour battery goes even further. Like, that is aggressively priced because they could have easily gotten away with $1,200-$1,300 because, again, like I said, for those of us who play in these waters, that thing, the Z2 chip, is on average $1,500. Right. And then people would say, well, I thought there might be some subsidization, this and that, and what's happening there. I don't, and I can't tell you like definitively if there is or isn't, but from my speculation, I would imagine that even if there is no subsidization, which we've all heard them all but say that there will be no subsidization, basically because of the market conditions and all of that, right? Microsoft as an entity themselves commands a lot of respect in this market. When they go to AMD and they go to their the chip vendors and the RAM vendors and the hard drive vendors, and they say, hey, we want to buy your stuff wholesale, they get very good pricing because this is a customer that historically has been able to move at last gen or recent gen, at least 30 million units, right? So you get a darn good discount, a discount that Asus probably won't get, right? Because no matter what we say, and we don't know that for sure, Asus most likely moved single-digit units as far as millions, if that, of all their devices. And we know for sure that Microsoft has sold around 30 million units, if not more, right? So if you're a customer with Microsoft and you walk in the room, you're not getting that chip, and I'm making up numbers here. You're not getting that chip for $10 a chip. Maybe you're getting that chip for $4 a chip because Microsoft is there with their wholesale pricing, right? That's that strategic partnership that we're talking about. So how is it that they can offer the same device at roughly the same exact price, only year over year with all those increases? Because probably Asus, it costs them less to make the chip. It costs them less to get the chip in-house because Microsoft is helping them as a strategic partnership. Now, will that lead to like console-like parity pricing? That's where I say you are right to be upset or disappointed. And it is their fault that you are where you are. It was never their job to like unrealistically set the expectation that these devices could be like as performant as they are and they are $500. They set that console expectation. So now when people look in the market and they see, well, I got a Switch and I got this other handheld and they both play games. Why is it that this one's $900 and why is that one, $300? Because the Switch is a toy car. The other one is an actual car that can take you places. They both have wheels, but they do different things. But again, it's not your fault for comparing the two, because for a long time these guys have been mispositioning them to the customer and hiding their subsidization, making it seem like you get what you pay for. You've been getting a damn good deal for too darn long, is basically the TLDR of it. And that's why console prices now, you're going to see that go way up. You're just going to see it. It is. You saw it with the PS5 Pro, right? If you see a PS5 Pro cost you 700 and change, do you think a PS6 will be 5 or 4?
No, it's probably going to be 8 or 9.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the market conditions demand it. And by the way, as the console market shrinks, because that's what's happening at this point, it's not that it's shrinking, but it's solidified. Those who want one will get one. Right? So they're going to make sure that if you like it, it'll be available for you. But at the end of the day, the world where we used to get those wonderfully priced consoles that just kind of were like, oh, you just buy it and it's just, intuitive and it gives you everything you need at that, I don't know, $299, $300, $399 price point. Yeah, that's a world that's I don't think we'll ever come back to. Right. So unfortunately, like the long and short of it is, if you play in these waters, in these handheld waters, the hardware they're giving you justifies even more of a price point than this rumor. I don't now, and let me be clear, that's not me saying, oh, be happy about it. That's not me saying that. My sweet spot for all of these devices is the high end should be no more than $799, and the entry one should be no more than $650 max. Right, so $599 for the low end, for the entry level, and $799 max for the high end. Right, but of course, all that is pre-tariff adjusted pricing. After tariff, the T word gets thrown around, it's all in the sauce. Who knows?
Yeah,
right?
You know what? Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
You had made mention of a sales number for the ROG Ally X, and it's not as high as some people actually might have thought that this thing was.
Yes.
How many sold in total?
So and shout out to those who like to hang out in our Discord. You'll know what I'm talking about. We in our Discord, in the GCP Discord, have this back and forth debate where we're deciding on whether or not, and some think it will, some think it won't. And I guess you guys can all deliberate and tell us your thoughts on it as well. But this device, again, let's be cynical about it, right? And let's say that Microsoft's contribution is just a sticker. This device is a 2.0 ROG Ally of the ROG Ally that was before it, right? And price-wise, it's in spitting distance of the previous, right? Same at the high end, same at the low end. And the Gen 1 of the ROG Ally X sold 455,000 units. And now I'm being told that the newer device, which has way more capabilities than the first one did, and it's the same price, but because it got a sticker on it that says little logo, now it ain't gonna get to the 450. I don't know about that. I think that it will sell more. If the first one sold that much, the second one will at least exceed that amount. And why do I say that? Because there's more in the tank with the device, and it's the same price point as the initial one. And there's a lot more to enjoy about the device. They've actually have a software layer that actually is working with it rather than against it now, right? And they come at it with a better battery life from day one rather than messing it up and having to mea culpa later, right? So all signs point in the direction of giving you more benefit for the same price point. Right. And if that first one sold 455, there's no reason why the second one won't, unless there's an anti-Xbox sentiment out there or whatever. I actually think, well, yeah, I actually think that them putting, even if it's a cynical take where they're putting the sticker on it, them doing that will get more eyeballs on it, because now Xbox faithful, people think that they don't exist, but there's at least 30 million of y'all. So I hear, right? Xbox faithful will now look at that because, hey, it's got that logo that I like. Whereas before it had that logo on it that you like, it would have been only in my realm because I buy handhelds, whether they got those logos on it or not. Now they got me and they got you. So there's a more of a chance that it'll sell more than 455K. That's my thought.
Well, it's great points all around, as always. Hargi Chani, $1,000, asking for a lot of people, and I think Kay broke it down in a great way. The sticker shock, especially in 2025, is shocking. I think Kay, he may have made mention of it, and I didn't hear didn't hear him say it, but I think when we were talking earlier, he mentioned something to the effect about us as gamers being conditioned. Console gamers are conditioned to pay $500 for a console. I mean, look, Nintendo put out what is equivalent in power, and it's a great console, by the way. I love my Switch too. I'm not even going to apologize for doing that. And tomorrow, holy crap, Donkey Kong Country. I say country, Donkey Kong Bonanza.
91 on Open Critic. 91 on Open Critic.
Well, there you go. I'm very excited. I cannot wait to get it for me and Tyler. I'm going to be playing all night. But that was a $500 console, and it has the power of a PlayStation 4 Pro. So $1,000 for this handheld that, in fact, can be docked. I think that gets lost in the conversation. People just look at it as a handheld. You will be able to actually dock this thing and play it on your TV, and it's going to be the equivalent power of at least a decent PC. What are your thoughts on the? And again, this is a leak, so take it with a grain of salt, for you folks. We still don't know the official number. Do you personally think the 1,000 is worth it?
I don't think it's going to be 1,000. So,
okay. Awesome.
So first, I want to point out that in general, when companies put things into their ERP system, there's a lot of copy pasting. Okay. So that may not be the official price. It may be the official price. We don't know. Okay.
Right.
But in general, companies are getting ready to put stuff into their systems. If they don't have the price, they just copy the old SKU, paste. It brings the price with it. Okay. And that might get somebody might capture it while it's in that little state where they haven't cleansed out the pricing. That happens. Okay. So that may not be official at all. Now, the current box is €8.99 in Europe. And the current box here is $8.99 USD. So if I were to just take that, I'd say, okay, if it's $8.99 over there, it would be $8.99 over here. That's tariff adjusted, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But no, I don't think it's going to be $1,000. Now, here's the other problem, right? No matter what you do, you have to look at the market you're in. Why was the Series S $300? Because there's a Nintendo Switch. That's $300. And though PlayStation says, "Oh, they're not our competition," Xbox clearly, when you were in the cases that they were in, the FTC case, the CMA, they clearly saw Nintendo and claimed it as a competitor. And they said, hey, if a mom or pop goes into a store and says, I need a console to play games, they can pay $300 for Nintendo. They can pay $300 for us. Right? That was their claim. That's how they put it. So are they going to look at the market and say, okay, well, Nintendo has now set the bar at $450. Should our low-end box be $450? Maybe it should be $500. Okay. I don't know. I think they're still going to look at that. However, they're also not going to take a bath anymore. That stuff's gone.
Yeah, you've kind of really driven that point home many times. You feel that the old ways of losing money up front per console
that's gone.
Is pretty much a done deal.
That's gone. So they might do it at cost. That's a possibility. But you also have to understand this is not them doing it. It's right. Asus. It's not just straight Xbox. Is Microsoft going to write a check for every one of these devices sold? I highly doubt it. So it's going to be pretty much either Asus gets like a small profit, or they have to somehow figure out that profit margin and cut the costs they can, a la doing better deals with their component manufacturers like AMD, but many others. There's plenty of the little components that go into these things, right? And say, how can we cut costs there? The other part, if you notice over here, it's you can only buy those through Best Buy. And that's probably a retail deal where they're like, we can't give you 30%. It's not fiscally feasible. And therefore we're going to cut a deal with you. You'll be the only one providing it. Therefore, you'll get the biggest volumes, whatever that 400, however many of that sold in the US, right? They get the full volumes of that. For that, we're going to give you 20% or 18% or 15% or whatever the number is. We also know that when you buy consoles, those retailers are not getting 30% either. So when you buy a PlayStation or a Nintendo or an Xbox, yeah, they're probably lucky to get 10%. They really cut those down. So it's not as big of a cut to the retailer. That may be something that Xbox employs here and says, hey, no, this is an Xbox. So, hey, we want the same deal, right? We'll put it everywhere, but it's going to be a 10% or it's going to be a 5% or whatever it is. That gives them leeway to cut that cost, right? It gives them ability to take that price, make it, come down. They're going to leverage things like this. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try to make it as cost effective as possible. And that would be aggressive pricing. I just don't see a world where they try to subsidize it. I think those days are over, especially given the mandates they're getting from the top. Hey, you need to have this X amount of profitability. I can't see them doing it. They're going to say, no, you got to pay, whether it's at cost for the Xbox side of it, but a little bit of profit for Asus, because of course Asus has to get something out of this, right? They're not going to just do this for nothing. They need to make money. That's the reason they would go into it. So they're gonna have to play those numbers. I could see $700, $800, the $799, $800 like thing. I could see that. I could see that being a price. If they're really, really able to push it, maybe get it to $750, $700. At $700, like what Kayasante was saying, that is a steal. For what you're getting, that is a steal. That is a fantastic amount of power, capability. Bro, for $700
at $800. That's a steal. Like, holy crap.
Deal, right?
That's a
but remember that they
deal.
have remember they have the lower tier box, and that's why they have that lower tier box, right? I still think they try to target a 500 for that. If they can get to that 450 to match the Switch, that's great. But I think they're going to try to target that. Steam Deck is $400. Let's remember that's another competitor, right? So you have that already. I think they're going to try to stay in that range, that $400 or $500 for that lower tier box. And again, they're going to have to just play those games, just try to get that best deal they can. And there's a give and take for the increase the cost, maybe you get more money, but you decrease the cost and increase the volume, you get more money that way too. And that's beneficial to everybody involved, right? The retailers want that because it gives them more volume. Volume is where they make money. They want to make money on volume sales. That's the way it goes, right? Shorter amount of profit, but you get that much more volume. That makes it better for you, right? So they want to do that. Certainly Asus wants to make money. Certainly Microsoft wants to get more consoles out there. I think that's the thing they're going to look for. And everybody knows this game. Everybody knows this game. It's the same, right? So I think that's what they're going to try to push here. I think that's why the labeling of Xbox matters. So we're going to see what they do with that. And so I would say it's in that range. This is just all my guesses, right? I'd say they're going to still try to compete with the Switch 2. They're going to try to compete with that Steam Deck and say the lower tier is in that range, $400 or $500, that range. Higher tier, $700, $800 if they can push it. $900 is realistic. I think that's a realistic target. But if they can get that $700, $800 in that range somewhere, oh my God, that is a steal. It's a really good deal. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't care. That's $800 out of my pocket. You're right. But go buy a laptop that does ROG Strix. You're not getting away with $1,500 or less. It's just so expensive. So it is what it is, what you're getting out of it. Now, this isn't a ROG Strix full power. It isn't. We should be clear about that. ROG Strix is going to give you more power. Absolutely. This is a pared down version. Fair enough. It's still very powerful. It's still going to do a lot of things that's pretty crazy for what you're getting. And unfortunately, I'm just going to have to keep reiterating, get used to it. I don't think your next gen Xbox is going to be much cheaper than that. I don't think your PS6, if it comes, is going to be, $500. It's not going to happen. Your PS5 Pro is an indication of where things are going. It's $700 without a disk drive, without a freaking, the stand. You have to go buy all the things yourself. I just think that's where they're going. And so I would not be shocked if PS6 is $700, $800. I just wouldn't be shocked. So kind of just get used to that. I still think that low tier will be there for you if you want to pay less and still have portability, have all the features. You're not going to get the same level of performance, but you're going to get something good enough. If you want that performance, though, yeah, I think you're going to pay. I think realistic $900 is realistic. But if they can push that $700-800, that is crazy good. That is a fantastic deal. So if they push it, that'd be awesome. So we'll see. But I think on that low tier, they're going to want to come in and say, we compete with the other models that are in the market right now, which is Steam Deck to Switch, right? To what they're going to put out there. They already have ROG Ally. What's the current ROG Ally lower tier? Is that $400 or $500?
Yeah, they're actually $650, I think it is, tax adjusted or whatever.
Now that's the original. So there were two. There was the ROG Ally, which I have, and then there was the X afterwards. So there's been two.
Well, there was the white one also had the Z1 Extreme version and a normal, and now they have a black version, which is the Ally X, and they still have the white one as well.
Okay, it's $500. The lower tier is $500. Okay. So yeah, I still think they try to do that. And again, if that's what Asus can sell it for, I think Microsoft can work their magic to try to get that to $450 to match the Switch, and that would be a fantastic idea. Because then it's the same thing they were with the original Series S and the Switch. Like, hey, you can walk into a store, you can pick the Nintendo or the Xbox. It's the same price. That's what they want to get at, right? Because then they literally are competing. They're saying, hey, we're competing exactly to the letter with our competitor, right? So I think that's the path to go in. Let's see what they do. But that would be my guess. I don't know that the leaked prices are real or not, right? They could be. But I would take that all with a grain of salt, because it's very common for people to go into their backend systems getting ready, because that announcement's coming in a month, right? So like, hey, let's get ready. Let's get our systems ready to go. And we're going to take the pre-orders the day it gets announced. I want my backend system ready to take that. So let's just copy paste whatever we have. So we're ready to go with the SKU that's needed for the next, whatever ROG is coming, right? So and in those cases, you literally just copy paste and like you put in whatever you have, and then you fix it later, right? You go in and fix it when you get the actual model numbers and all that stuff when the vendor is ready to give it to you. This is Asus themselves doing it, right? So even they have probably got that same thing of like, hey, let's just put it in. We're ready to roll, and then we'll put the prices in when we finalize it. And they may not know what it is right now, right? Because the trade agreements are still happening, right? So from an EU perspective, maybe they're locked and they understand. But maybe they aren't, because they're like, what if, it's advantageous for us to manufacture this over here or ship it from over here, right? So we don't know what's going to happen. So they're like, let's just wait, right? And last minute, we'll put in the prices when we know exactly what we're going to have to do, and that's when it'll get finalized. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think that is exactly sacrosanct. I'm just going to assume that was just copying, and they're literally the prices of the current boxes, right? So it's like, well, if that's exactly what it is, I don't know that Microsoft has actually had a chance to say, no, let's cut it back. And maybe they even target certain regions and say this price over here, this price over there. And that's very normal as well. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'd be happy to see it at $900 US. I think that's a good price. But if they could push it down to $700 or $800, oh my God, that is a steal. And I know people aren't going to think that way, but you have to understand what you're getting for it. It's so crazy for that amount of kit. It's like 24 gigs of memory, and then VRAM, and then like, dude, it's a terabyte hard drive. It's a lot for what you're paying. It's a lot. $700 would be such a steal for that box.
This thing right here is this is the MSI Claw. It's the only device out that competes with Strix right now, right? And it didn't start out that way. It took many driver updates for people to go, oh my God, it's competing with Strix, right? It is considered the steal of all steals. Do you know how much it retails right now at Best Buy? $1,000, because Strix is $1,500.
Yeah, see what I mean? And when you look at that and you look at the kit and you're like, if you could get that to $700, oh my God, is that a good deal? No, it's not going to be a PS5 Pro in power, but what it offers you instead, it's just so crazy. So you have to just look at for what it's giving you. Why is $450 for a Switch 2? People thought that was a very expensive. I'm like, no, that's good for what they're giving you. That's not a bad price for what they're giving you. And so now you have to compare that, right? And you say, okay, well, yeah, for what they're going to give you, $700 is really, really good. $900 is good. $900 is a good price. But dude, if they could get it down to 700, oh my god, that is a good price.
That'd
So
be
we will
insane.
see what they do.
Yep.
We will see what they do.
It's going to be very interesting. There's no doubt about that. I am, listen, I'm there day one. This is what I've been waiting for. If it runs and operates like it's being, positioned itself as to be basically an Xbox on the go, I'm in. Again, $1,000. I know, talking with Kay, now talking with you, even $900 is a steal. And based on how it was explained to me by Kay earlier this morning, yeah, it's definitely a steal. And again, this I know one of the biggest questions.
Couldn't help myself, and I got this.
Oh, you got it. You got one.
You.
Oh, that's cool.
Couldn't help myself.
You know what? Why not? If you don't have one, that's why I didn't buy it, because I literally have. I have one. You know.
Yeah, I don't have any MetaQuest. So,
so there you go. The MetaQuest, I love it. MetaQuest is great.
And
they have
you can use
phenomenal
Airlink to connect it to your PC. You can use it to connect to your Xbox itself.
Yep.
So you can use cloud, but you can actually just use your Xbox. So you can play your games from your Xbox. You can play your games from your PC onto the VR headset. It's like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you don't have one, it's not bad. I'm just, folks, I just changed the footage because it was about to run out, so I just have to remove it from the studio. I haven't had a chance to actually make the videos to play in the backgrounds. I was literally playing off a memory stick. It looked actually pretty good. I didn't have to do any bells and whistle changes, but you know what, gentlemen, before we get to the next topic, and this one is, I want to come back to you, Hargeet, because I see a lot of people in the chat asking. When me and Fuzzy were talking about this on Monday's show, there were a lot of people asking. The main question, or the main statement that I continue to see from the games community is, if this thing is $1,000 and it's a handheld, what is my next Xbox/PlayStation gonna cost? And that is something I kind of really, I think I'd love to have us just, even if we spend 10, 15 minutes on it. I think that Kay really hit a home run this morning when we were talking, when he said that, and it's not an insult, because I'm a console guy. I've always been a console guy. So if you ask me what's a good price for a console, I'm going to tell you $500. Most people would, right? Mm-hmm. Like when the Switch was coming out at $5 with the game, I'm like, well, I don't think that's actually bad. $5 is kind of what I expected anyway. You're getting Mario Kart World, you don't have to pay the $80. Okay, $500. $450 for the console itself, not bad. That's not going to be the case moving into what potentially could be as early as next year. Now, Colt Eastwood, which I don't have his video here, just did a video. He put it up this morning regarding a rumor, and I don't know whether he got this from Mag or he talked about it on the show. I haven't had a chance to catch up with XNC, that next year there are going to be OEM devices for a new Xbox. Not the actual Xbox, but one made potentially a home Xbox by Asus. He mentioned Lenovo. He mentioned
Razer.
That's the other one he mentioned as well. So it's
Boom, tell the man, the great man, next time he wants to use my material, that is Xbox era article in 2024, he could at least, give me some credit, because I wrote that maybe in June 2024. But let's neither here nor there. Let's keep it going. Okay. Yeah.
You have to, no shade, no tea, as the kids like to say, right? There you go.
I mean my receipts are digital. They're right there with timestamps. Let's just go.
I love it. So, Hargeet, how do you answer this question? How do gamers prepare on both sides of the aisle? This isn't just going to be an Xbox thing. This is going to be a PlayStation thing. Now, granted, PlayStation, the rumor, or at least the last rumor that's been floating around, is PlayStation isn't going until 2027. That's a long time away, man. Like I don't know if they're going to wait that long. I thought
the last thing I heard is it's even later than that.
Oh, see, there you go. Okay, so then it could be 28.
There was some talks about where they are with the PS6 and where they are with the mid-gen refresh, and they thought that they have years to go before they need to release the next one. So from that, the assumption was a 28 to 29 release. And that was recent. This was in the last few weeks. So I don't know. So anywhere between 27 to 29, right? I'm going to guess 28 is when they do it, but we'll see.
So, all right. Well, I mean, with all of that said, how do Xbox gamers prepare themselves for what could be $1,000 console, and understand that is what these consoles are going to cost? Why are these consoles going to cost $1,000? Is the best question to ask.
Well, is it going to cost $1,000 is the first question to ask. And I would say, I don't know that it will. Understand that when you're talking about the ROG Ally X Xbox, you're also looking at a screen, a battery, all that stuff.
Right.
Granted, to be fair, you have a controller to bundle in with the other one. The controller, however, doesn't cost as much as all these other components that they have to put in to make it into, and you have most of the controller components also embedded inside these, portable devices, right? So I don't think it's going to cost as much. I think they'll be able to scale that down even more because of the volumes. So, the $900 price point is possible. $800 is possible. Even $700 is possible, right? So the PS5 Pro gives us an indication of where that could go, because that's literally what they're doing. They're kind of just getting that high scale version of a higher performance APU and putting that into the box, right? So, they're skipping on things like a disk drive. I fully expect that's going to happen with the next Xbox as well. Don't expect a disk drive bundled in. If you want one, maybe they sell it as an accessory. So expect the same kind of thing. Yeah, it's likely in that same range, $700-800. That's a probable, price range for that. I think it's going to also be the same as what if Xbox puts out their own, that would be the same price. And I don't know if it happened at the same time or delayed, whatever that is. When they put their box out, it'll be in the same range. I think they're going to effectively compete at the same kind of price point and allow their competitors to offer things that maybe they don't, right? And that allows open market capabilities where, MSI could come out with hey, we have a 1.2 terabyte or a 1.5 terabyte versus 1 terabyte, or they have another whiz-bang feature that they want to throw in. Fair enough, right? So that's kind of where the differentiation comes in. But I would expect it to be in that range. I would say $700-800. I don't think it'll be 1,000, but it's gonna be more than what you're used to. And for people who are used to the $300 Switch, they suddenly took a 50% up in $450 and still bought the crap out of it. So it is what it is. I don't think it'll kill the market. So having it be in that range, I think is still okay. Look, your options are: I stick with current gen, or I go to a PS6, which is likely going to be the same price, or I go to PC. And if you're going to go to PC, you're going to spend more. So now there are benefits for PC. I'm not going to deny that. Oh my God, the benefits of PC are fantastic. However, they're trying to bring a lot of those benefits to you on the next Xbox, right? So, if it's a good enough deal, it gives you almost all the cool benefits of PC, but also gives you a better price and consistent interface, easy to use, right? None of the weird, Windowsy annoyances that happen, right? So you have a very TV-friendly environment. Yeah, I think that's going to be a compelling thing, even at $700-800. It is what it is. Now, will they do multiple SKUs? They are, and they're not going to be from them. They're just going to be from other competitors, right? So you'll have an Asus version or whatever version. Could they have a lower performance tier that's cheaper? Sure, that's always possible, and that's kind of the openness of the sort of open market, anybody can build it option. They can certainly have a lower tier thing that costs less. So we'll see what they do, right? But I think it's going to be in that range. I don't think it's going to be $500. That's probably gone, because even at that they were losing money. I don't see that happening. So at least 6, but more likely 7 to 8. That'd be my guess. That PS5 Pro basically just set the standard. That is going to be the pricing.
That's a good point.
That'd be my thoughts. As far as the years, the stuff that Colt's talking about, I think that's probably realistic. 26, they do partner. Maybe they have their device ready, maybe they don't. One of the cool things that he was talking about is this allows them to kind of test the waters.
Yes.
And then, get to the point where they can release theirs. Fair enough. It's kind of a disadvantage to their competitive partners here, right? The cooperative partners, however you want to call it, even though they're competing, to give them the test bed instead of the fully baked thing. But this is kind of the world they're in. That also offers them the option to start getting their foothold into the console market in a big way. So whatever. I also think this is not a one and done 8-year generation thing. I think that's over too. I think Microsoft is going to leave it open, and you will have every year there'll be the new next a cool thing, and you can decide when you want to jump in. Right. So maybe you stay on for 2 years, 3 years, 8 years, 10 years. It's just like PC. You can choose to go in whenever you want. Right. So if the next whiz bang version comes out and you're like, oh, I have to have it, you can go have it. Right. So if you're one of those is like, nah, I'm good enough, this thing still works, great, no problem.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be in a different world. The generations thing will just kind of die out. So
I mean, again, great points all around. Okay, Sant, I want to bring you in on Hargeet's point about 700 to 800 potentially being what the next Xbox is going to cost. And again, I am going to add Colt's video to the show notes. So if you want to watch it, take a look at it. It was a really good video. It's only a 12, it's just a pinch under 13 minutes. So Colt makes freaking great videos. He really does. And this one was another one. Breaking down the potential of OEM hardware next year is what he's suggesting, and that's pretty interesting. But for Xbox themselves, right? We know that next gen is coming. We know that there's already alluded to, thanks to Sarah Bond when she said consoles. There's multiple, at least 2, based on her wording. One could be the Switch-like dock device that we've heard about, rumored. We know that we're getting the big boy underneath the TV, and it's rumored to be this everything box. Where do you sit with the 700 to 800? Could it be more?
Honestly, I'm right there along with Hargeet. I think that is your sweet spot. You are beyond subsidization. You want to see it. You want to see what a console looks like that is high performance. That's not subsidized. Look at the Switch 2. That's what you got, right? It looks great, it functions great, but if you really put it to the test, it is a few generations back because they have to make sure they extract some of their funds from that, right? They can't be bleeding from the stone and hoping that you'll give them the money back later. They need to make their at least break even today. So in order to keep console prices still relatively normal, that means you won't get wild next gen hardware. But that could be okay too, because we're kind of already in the land of min spec anyway, right? Like we're no longer in a world where I foresee where you'll have new bespoke hardware that sets a new benchmark that you just go, wow, I've never seen graphics this amazing before. They're all in line with PC, right? So as long as they are able to calibrate the way they do the way they R&D to the point where it always ends up around the high end being $800 and the low end being about $400 to $500, that's great, right? That continues in the line of what they've already trained their consumer. Now, Boom, I was saying this to you before, and I will contend this, and this is not just Microsoft's problem. Any console maker that has been subsidizing their consoles for as long as they have been teaching the wrong lesson to the consumer, right? You don't know what value equals with the speeds and feeds you have, but as long as every time you see one, it's being subsidized by some corporation, now all of a sudden you think that hardware is worth what that sticker price is, when it's not. Realistically, it's probably worth $200-300 more. They're just eating that cost on your behalf in the hopes that you'll play their games, right? But in a world where that closed ecosystem is no longer that closed, because now you can play other app store games, now you can't have that anymore, right? You only have the choice of either you get your choice of app stores, but now you're paying the real price for the device, or you're in the lockdown world. So I honestly think that the side effect of it may lead to a place where you may not get as bleeding edge technology as you would otherwise, but it won't be really noticeable. And realistically, I would contend that even in the next gen and the gens after, if and when you get a console, and I too believe you will get a console, it will be around that $700 to $800 price point for the high end. And for those who don't believe me, July 29th, 2024, Link is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. That is when I wrote exactly what Colt Eastwood said yesterday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I'm just saying, I come with my digital receipts.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's
listen,
what it is.
Again, please go read his article. It was phenomenal, and it was written last year. So there you go. I mean,
and what did I say? I said Lenovo, and I said Asus would all be making Xboxes.
There you go. Well, here you go, sir. There you go.
Let's go.
You're a Swami of sorts.
I like to call myself Negro Damas. Let's keep it moving. All right.
Well, I'm certainly not going to call you that, sir. Oh my god! Shout out to Sin in the chat, man. Great to see you here as always. JD Gamer, what's going on, brother? Listen, it's funny. The world, the business of gaming is a conversation that is going to continue to circle as we go through things. Whether it be the price of consoles, the price of handhelds, the price of potentially Game Pass. There is a rumor that was dropped earlier today by Ecstasies regarding what could be a price increase of multiple new tiers, which I'm not sure what that exactly means. What are they going to add to it? What are they going to take away from it? But the one thing that is at least for Xbox that has been constant is games, right? Like I know, your miles are going to vary on, what games you like. Not every game is for everybody. And I'm going to circle around to the point I'm trying to make in a second, but I don't want to forget the super chats because there's been quite a few of them. And then we're going to have a conversation that involves a still commercial that Xbox dropped today, and it raised more questions than actually answered them. I'm gonna break down exactly. Yeah, see, there you go, Ray Oid. Ray Oid has literally taken the words right out of my mouth. I'm gonna come back to you, Ray. Don't go anywhere. Let me just catch up on super chats. The first one today comes from a very generous friend of the program. He's been with us since the inception of the channel. JD Gamer drops a very generous $5 super chat. He goes on to say VAT is between 17 and 27% in the EU. If you remove that from the EU's suggested prices, you can easily get $4.99 and $7.99, and because it's a PC, equals exempt from tariffs. That's very
it just depends on how they end up classifying it, right? So
that's the thing. They are marketing it as an Xbox,
right?
So
but if it's a console, it may not, right? And so they have to really play that game, right? So we'll see what happens, right? So
it's good. Well, JD Gamer, you have schooled this old man. Apparently, you can teach old dogs new tricks. That is fantastic, write-up, brother. So thank you so much for the generosity, and thank you for the knowledge bomb. We super appreciate it. Pioneer in the chat drops a very generous $5 super chat. He says, "Isn't what Xbox Vision is what we all want to play anywhere?" I mean, that's what they've been selling us for a couple of months now. Like Xbox Play Anywhere is a thing. It's not like it's gone away or it's gonna go away. This is just going to be another way for you to play. Outside of everything they've already done, this is definitive version of, hey man, we partnered with Asus. This is a team effort, and well, have at it. And again, if Hargeet's onto something and he thinks that they could, if this thing comes out for $800, it's going to be a steal. And I only know that because of speaking with Kay Asante earlier this morning. He explained to me in full detail why this is if it came out at that price, would be ridiculous. And of course, back from Parky Chani live on the air was like, yeah, if this comes out for that price, steal of the year. Even though for the console-centric folks like me and you in the chat here, we're used to those $500 numbers, right? Like, I mean, maybe some people are like, well, boom, I paid $700 or $800 for the Pro. I wanted it. That's awesome. If you bought the Pro and you enjoyed it, money well spent. No one's going to argue. No one's ever going to. I'm never going to tell you wasted your money. You spend your money on what you want. But this is going to be an interesting test. But BT Maverick 707, what's going on, brother? Great to see you here. He's been a channel member, ladies and gentlemen, for 7 months. He goes on to say, sign me up. I'm buying the Xbox Ally. Only thing I wished it had was that Lenovo Legion sized screen. Actually, Kay Sante had made mention of that in one of our earlier chats. He said, I wish the screen was this size. And yeah, me too. I absolutely agree. Which we might see an Xbox Legion next year. I mean, that's always possible. Like right now,
this is going to be the fun, right? It's like, oh, I want an OLED screen. Okay, somebody will make one with an OLED screen.
Yeah,
that's right.
Bigger or smaller or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of where we're going.
Yeah,
you're not locked.
And that's that is such, again, it's for someone like me and Kay and Harky. You know, we're a little up there. No one as old as me. Let's call a spade, but at least on this panel. And to think about where we were to where we're going, my God, it's so exciting. Like, it's such a great time to be a gamer. I don't care. Listen, absolutely. I know that people like get mad at me when I say this. Listen, I don't care where you game. You want to have a conversation, come into the chat, hang out over here. PlayStation, PC, Xbox, Nintendo, it doesn't matter. Gamer is a gamer is a gamer. You're welcome here. And where we're going as gamers, and I don't care what console you play on, it's very exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Very exciting times. But we have two more super chats from JD Gamer. The first one of $5. So JD, thank you so much for the additional support. He says, question for the chat and panel. How does the Z2 Extreme compare to the Series XS, PS5, PS5 Pro, and what happens when the MPU is fully enabled? I can't answer that. Maybe you guys.
You start that, Hargeet. I'll finish it. Go ahead.
All right. So I'd give it. Look, there it's a little bit lower in quantitative performance than the Series S, slightly. However, it's going to have those NPU capabilities. It's going to have RDNA 3.5 versus 2. So you can't really compare T-flop to T-flop because it's what you do with those, that gives you some more capability there. I'd still say it's in that range, though. I would call it a Series S in that range. It's not going to outdo the X. There's just too much raw grunt that the X has, unless you have an unoptimized game. So I wouldn't expect it to outdo the X. It's not going to, I mean, the PS5 and X have been kind of neck and neck anyways. PS5 Pro gives it a little bit more capability, and it has an MPU capability, though it's not really a separate MPU, but whatever. It is what it is. It has something. And they're going to use FSR4 now going forward, decommissioning pisser for FSR4, right? So I would expect this to take advantage of the same things that are available with FSR4, but I think it's going to take what is it? Is it AutoSR? What's the new thing that Microsoft's putting together, right? So it's probably going to take advantage of that
API
too, right?
level
Whatever.
Connection. Yep.
Yeah, so it will be able to take advantage of that, but I still say it's going to be a Series S level, right? Somewhere around there. Sometimes it'll beat it, sometimes it won't, but it's going to be in that range. That'd be my guess.
So let me finish it off by saying this, right? And I'll use this to make the point. This is effectively a cell phone. This has the chipset of a Galaxy S21 Ultra, right?
What we have. Well, I have that one. I had yeah.
What's running on it right now is Tomb Raider Remastered at 60 frames per second. PC code from GOG. The problem we have is we as consumers think of resources as a step ladder. This is better than this. This is better than that. This is far less powerful than a lot of my handhelds, but can emulate games and do certain things that those others cannot.
Okay.
Right. The reason why this is exciting is not necessarily because of the step ladder that is more power. Right. It's the fact that you have this specifically, even like what I have here in your hands, and you can go in the background and go, I want to turn down them shaders a little bit. I want to turn down them fogs. And now I'm at 60 frames. You could never do that before. Like on this device that I'm emulating right now, I can do that. And I can turn the frames from 30 to 60 by making those dials myself. This is where that excitement lives. Right. Whether it ultimately is a PS4 Pro power level or not, you will beat the PS4 Pro because there will be games that will run better on that device than the PS4 Pro because the PS4 Pro gives you no choices. This will give you all the choices. That's why it's exciting.
And so that's an interesting question as to whether they will give you the choices or not. It is PC. technically, right?
It's full PC code, no doubt about
so
it.
it should theoretically give you everything, right?
All the
but
choices.
would they have performance targets, right? So the thing that we get on the console is that you don't do any of that because it makes it easy for the end user. However, this is running so if you get a Steam game, will it basically just say whatever Steam game allows,
here's the deal.
Go for it.
Here's the deal. This has already happened. There's already precedent for this, right? There are, like, for example, GeForce Now. GeForce Now runs PC code, normal Windows code, but you have to remember to go in the background settings and unlock it before you're able to make changes in the settings in game. If you don't do that, then it's just locked to a profile that's already optimized for the platform. You understand? So they can easily just set an optimized platform for ROG LIX. If you want to change it, go for it. But if you don't, it's locked and it runs optimized. And by the way, how they know that it's optimized, if you run Windows today, go look in the store. They have been telling you whether this thing can run your game since like Windows 8. No one's been paying attention. They know what hardware it runs. It'll tell you, well, this may run well, this may not. Right? So all they got to do is say, all right, well, we see this profile. It is this device. This is your ideal profile. You want to change it? Go for it. If not,
and then you'll incur other penalties like shader recompilations, right? Whereas if it's default profile, you don't have to worry about that. And Boom's asking, what the hell is shader recompilation?
I'm just listening to the masters talk along. So
something you hopefully never have to deal with.
So essentially, Boom, the modern GPUs are reprogrammable, and so when you run up a new game, it takes advantage of what you actually have and then sort of compiles the code specifically to your device. That's called shader compilation. Okay. And so this is stuff that we're used to in PC world because everybody has a different config. So
on console, they do that too, though. But they do that before you ever get the game.
Yeah, exactly. They pre-compile it because they know what you have. And they're like, oh, we know this is the
for us, they don't know what we have. They don't know I have it. So when I come home, I have to compile it myself. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? So yes, TLDR, it's gonna be great. And hopefully it's not going to be too damn expensive.
You know what? This is I'm just sitting back in amazement listening to these two guys go. Great question, JD Gamer. But he has another $10 super chat that we have to get to. And of course, thank you again, JD Gamer, for the additional support. He says, for all those disingenuous ponies out there asking who is the ROG Ally Xbox Ally for, well, it's for gamers. And in terms of game access, 1,344 Play Anywhere games, and now your full library available through streaming. And we've heard some other things in the background that it's folks. This is if you're gonna want eventually this is gonna play every one of your Xbox games. Do not fall for the virtual banana in the tailpipe when someone asks you why are you wasting your money on this. Tell them to mind their business. Unless they're buying it for you, they shouldn't ask anything. But gentlemen,
I mean, and you get all the PC games, right?
You get all the PC games. You get a lot of PC games, and you get, again, for me, I say this all the time. I use myself as the perfect test case. I'm not a Steam customer. I've purchased games, but I usually only purchase collections during the Steam sales, like everybody, right? And everyone buys games, no one plays them, but I have an opportunity to be a part of that conversation now. With this new handheld, I'm very excited for it. But gentlemen, again, bringing back to what we enjoy talking about. That's video games, right? That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about games. We're here to talk about gaming. And one of the more interesting things when you look at the big three, the one that has been putting out the games, the one that has been in the zeitgeist conversation has been Xbox. Now, granted, yes, a couple weeks ago we had some really horrible news, and it really did remove a lot of the shine, a lot of the goodwill, if you will, for what Xbox has done, and they continue to do. But they have done something today that, at least for me, either they got it wrong and it's bad messaging again, because they're notorious for that, or like Ray Oid suggested in the chat. Maybe Clockwork Revolution is coming out in 2025. Well, I'm all about that evidence-based conversation, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to bring up a slide so you guys and gals can see exactly what I am talking about. Let me make sure I got it over here. Oh no, I got to add it. Give me 1 second, folks. I actually I had put it into a different file. Oh, I hate when I do that. Oh my god, I'm so mad at myself. Okay, here we go. I'm going to load it up right now. So earlier this afternoon, there was a new Xbox Game Pass commercial that was put up by the official Xbox Game Pass site on a Twitter account. And interestingly enough, it had a bunch of games there. I'm going to bring it up. You know what? Let me just so I can add it that way. Okay, take a look at the screen, folks. Take a look at the screen for you. This was I wind up recondensing it and made my own thumbnail out of it. It was a very long one. You wouldn't have been able to see it correctly, so I made this. And the top part of this advertisement says it appears your future is full of games. And it has 6 games listed: Call of Duty Black Ops 7, The Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, Gears of War Reloaded, Grounded 2, and suspiciously, in the same block of games that is releasing this year, it has Clockwork Revolution. Now,
well, does it say this year though? It just says these are games that are coming, right?
It says again. This is what we're about to do, ladies and gentlemen, is go to somewhere where you're very familiar with. Hong Sol and Mav like to hang out in Speculation Town, and Speculation Town.
To be fair to Boom too, all the others are all confirmed for 2025.
Well, I mean, listen, I will say this:
the others in the list.
There are 2 that are 26.
Okay.
All right. So out of this list, it has 12 games, right?
And I'm not talking about the whole list. I'm just talking about the.
Oh no, everyone on the left-hand side has been confirmed. Yes, 2025.
Yeah,
every one of them.
The group that it's among, the group that Clockwork Revolution is among. Every one of the others are confirmed for 2025. So it's
I feel like we're about to talk about Sesame Street. One of these things don't belong to the
other.
Well,
right? Yeah.
The other thing that's
to add this to.
The other thing that's weird is Keeper is on the other side. I don't know why that's on the other
Keeper's
side.
on the other side. The High on Life 2 is this year as well, right? So that's also on the left-hand side. I can confirm that Renaissance, which of course is the sequel. Resonance. Okay.
Resonance.
Yeah.
Is of course that's 26, and so is P4, which is the revival, the remake of Persona 4.
Persona 4, yeah.
Keepers this year, from what we understand. I don't even know what Fate's End is, and I don't know what Ghost of the Grand. I know we saw that again. It's kind of like
we saw them. Yeah, they're indie games, right?
They're indie games.
I remember,
and I think that's this year as well. The 2 standouts here are the sequel to the Rat game, which of course everyone loves, and I can't for some reason remember the name of it, and it's fine. And P4, which is 2026.
Yeah, again, I don't know that Fate's End has a release date. I don't
even know what Fate's End is, to be honest with you. This just popped up on the feed. I saw it before we went live, and I said, you know what? We are light on topics. We obviously wanted to open up with the hardware. We talked about it. We got about another 22 minutes before we get on out of here. You know what's interesting? Again, I don't have to be right. I don't mind being wrong. Of course, when I'm wrong, I will come out like a man and let you guys and gals know that I got it wrong. But if you just take when we first saw Clockwork a couple of years ago, and just walk with me on this, folks. Before this year's showcase, where the game really showed, like it really showed, okay? We saw a trailer that a lot of us, including Kay Asante, he and I talked about this all the time. We're like, man, that game looks pretty far along.
It looks unusually done. Oh my God, it does. Yeah. Even the announcement trailer looked like you could play that thing tomorrow.
That's my whole point. So again, folks, this is speculation town. You know, is it coming out this year? Well, we don't know, because at the end of the trailer, it said it would see us in due time, right? That's what the trailer ended with. So most of these games are 2025. There are at least 2 that we know are 26, right? I can't speak on Ghosts of the Grand, which actually looks like kind of like a spray paint simulator with ghosts, which I actually thought looked really freaking good, to be honest with you. And I don't know what Fate's End is, to be honest.
That's the next game from the Spiritfarer team.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah. So I don't know if that's this year or it's not. It's just odd. And Hargy, let's take a blind stab at this. Again, this is not the biggest topic, and this is a fun one, ladies and gentlemen, because this obviously just came out. It's an Xbox Game Pass commercial. Some games, or at least most games, are coming out this year. More specifically, if you look to the left of the screen, or at least left for me, the bottom, the 6 games that are there, 5 have been confirmed for this year. The one that is on the outs that we don't know is Clockwork. And again, if we're just, this is just, we're spitballing, folks. Grand Theft Auto 6 got moved to next year. That was a game that a lot of people, including Xbox, were at a holding pattern for the later half of the year, because no one knew where this game was going to fall. Probably the holiday. It made the most sense. Well, it's not there anymore. And we know that Outer Worlds is coming out. We know that Call of Duty is coming out. We know that Grounded is coming out soon. Gears of War is next month. Ninja Gaiden, I think it's the end of the year, probably around that October, November time frame.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden's in October. Yeah.
There you go. So Clockwork seems like it could show up. Now, again, why? How? Why didn't Xbox tell us that this was coming out this year? Well, and people, you can clip me on if you want, whatever. I had a theory, and it's just a theory, that the normal pattern for Xbox has always been a developer direct in the front of the year, which they had this year. They had it the year before, and I believe they had the year before that. And that's great, right? You start off the year on the right foot, and, awesome. But what if they had one or a second one towards the end of the year? Maybe late August. Now, late August, you say, well, it's just second, boom, that's Gamescom. You're right. They're going to be in Gamescom. They're going to be really focusing on that. But what if it showed up at Gamescom? I don't know. It's possible. Could they have a direct that they haven't announced? Sure. Argued again, we're just spitballing here. I just find it odd that it's in the same list of every game that's releasing this year. And this is a game that looked done. You were there. You watched it with us. What are your thoughts, man? Do you think that this is bad messaging, marketing as always for Xbox? Or this game is actually coming out?
I mean, I think most of the games on the right side are next year.
Yes.
So, Keeper being the only one that I think is actually this year, and Persona 4, I think that remaster came out already.
Persona 4 is, I think, 26, though. I'm pretty sure it said 26. P4?
Okay, so that's...
Yeah.
So P4 Revival, is it? What is that called?
Yeah, Persona 4 Revival, which is the remake. I'm almost positive it said 26.
Okay, so that's also next year. Okay, so yeah. So I mean, like, I don't really think that's what they're doing by putting Clockwork there. I think they've shown it. There was a lot of buzz with it, so they're just mentioning, hey, that's coming too. So on the left side, you have mostly games coming this year. On the right side, you basically have one game that's coming this year, and the rest are all next year, it looks like. So, maybe they should have put Clockwork where Keeper is, and Keeper where Clockwork is, and that would maybe be less confusing, I guess. But outside of that, I don't think there's anything else to read into it. I think Clockwork is next year, along with, Fable, Gears, Forza, Halo. That's probably, it looked pretty close to done, right? So So that might be early next year. I don't know, but we'll see. I think it's going to be at the Dev Direct, and that's where we're going to see, the release time for Clockwork, along with the rest of the fantastic slate of games. So that's all I read into it, because there's a lot of stuff from 26 on the the right side. So I don't know. I wouldn't read too much more into that. I just find it weird to have Keeper, a first-party game, along with a bunch of third-party games on the other side. But maybe it's just the way they're mixing it up. It might have made more sense to say we put Clockwork in with where the right side there where Keeper is, because those are all 26 games, and Keeper is certainly coming out this year. So so maybe that would have made more sense, but that's all I really read into this. It's really just, hey, these are a whole bunch of games that are coming. I mean, they should have put Wu Chang in here because it's coming out like eminently, right? So
I think the next week, maybe. I think it's next week.
Yeah, so that would have been something to throw in there, like, hey, that's coming like really soon. They got plenty of other games too, right? So it's not like this is the exhaustive list, but yeah, whatever. These are the ones they wanted, like maybe replace like Ghost at the Grand or something. There's no Ghost at the Grand with Wu Chang, which looks like a bigger game, but I don't know, whatever. It's their choice. But yeah, I think that's all it is. I don't think Clockwork. I don't want them to put out more games this year. They already have too many, and like November should be is Black Ops 7 to me. They already have October locked and loaded. There's too many games already in October, right? So that's it. It's good enough. There's more than enough games this year. Throw Clockwork in beginning of next year if you want to. For the love of God, do not put it out in December. I absolutely hated that they did that to Indiana Jones, and that totally took it out of contention.
In the chat that December would be potentially lined up for something like Clockwork, and that's a really great point. I know it did well, but would it have done better if it was an October or November release?
Yeah, it would at least be in contention for Game of the Year, and and it looks good. And that's the thing. I don't want it to just be immediately taken out because you put it out in December, right? Indiana Jones totally lost because of that. It did win in other areas, right? Other award shows, but who watched those shows? Nobody. The one that gets watched is the Keighley show. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. No, tell me in the chat which ones did it win. Don't look it up. Which ones did Indiana win? Nobody knows because nobody pays attention. Only people pay attention to the Keighley Awards. It's just the way it is. And it totally got taken out of that because it was put out in December foolishly. But hey, it is what it is. That could have waited 3 weeks, go in January, and now you'd be in contention. Unfortunately, guess who's winning this year? It's going to be Death Stranding 2. It's already done. Whatever. So, that was a stupid idea. Do not, Xbox, do not put this game out in December, like being idiots again. Do not do that. So wait till January, put it out in the Dev Direct, and either bring it out in January, February. That's fine, but don't do this whole weird, stupid putting December crap. Anyway, that's what I see from it. I don't think they should put it out this year. So,
it's definitely a fair point, and obviously, you're potentially onto something because Indiana Jones was a phenomenal game. I don't care what anyone said. What anyone says, that game was phenomenal. And it did get lost. And a lot of people are like, well, because it was on PlayStation this year, maybe it's just
nope.
It's just not. It's there are too many games this year that are for Game of the Year contenders, and two of them right out of the gate are Expedition 33 and Death Stranding 2. Now there's going to be more. There's going to be others, right? There's going to be at least 4. What do they usually have? 6 of them in there, 6 or 7 games in there. That's usually how many games. But Asante, again, look, I could be completely wrong, and I probably am. I just found the commercial odd where they could have easily, and I think Hardkey's onto something. I think that they could have easily put Wu Chang there because that comes out next week, right? That would have been a good one to put there. Like for instance, again, this is a little off subject, but not really. RoboCop is going into Xbox Game Pass, and I'm here to tell you, folks, if you skipped on that game, oh my God, are you going to be in for a treat? That RoboCop is so well done, and it really is it's like ripped right out of the film. Like, it's so good. Oh my god! And there's no DLC coming out for it as well. But what are your? I mean, again, this is not the biggest topic. It's just kind of want to round off today's big conversation with the tech. What are your thoughts on this? Again, the one thing that I think, Kay, we could both admit easily is that Xbox gets it wrong a lot with their messaging. And I don't know why you put this game there in the same block of everything that's coming out in 2025 if it's not coming out in 2025.
It's very weird, right? It's very weird. No, and Hargeet has the right of it as well. Like, we've even seen them make similar hilarious mistakes, right? We saw them, the Fable team, the Fable Twitter account, a long time ago, releasing some kind of conversation about there being a remaster or something like that, only to then pull it back, only to never be heard from again, right? Like, right? You first thought, oh, maybe they jumped the gun. No, it was just something that was never going to be heard from again. It was just the weirdest fluke. Hey, or did they get hacked? We don't know. Anyway, it's very weird, right? So that always adds a little bit of ability to be less than confident in their capabilities, right? Clearly there's something going on there. What it turns out to be, I'm not sure. I know I'm not going to be the one on Front Street. I'm just going to sit back and chew my popcorn. I will allow you to make those wonderful prognostications about Spider-Man going everywhere, and then they'll come for you, and eventually you're right. And in 10 years, you'll be vindicated as you always are, sir. It is what it is. No, truth be told, honestly, like, I it's just weird. It's just weird. I don't think I can't quite connect the two dots myself and say, okay, that's what it means. It's just quite unusual that in a block of games that is in that corner, that is all games that are 2025, with the exception of the other side, you put the 2025 game, 2026 game in there. It's just, it breeds conversation. And unless that's what you want, but I mean, I will say, I'll end it by saying I do agree with Hargeet to a certain extent. I've said it on this air before. I think that once they started those floodgates opening and they kept smacking people across the face with one insane game after another, it was eventually there was going to be insane game fatigue. And we might be getting there.
I mean, you're right. Yeah. I think we're there this year already, to be honest with
you. So maybe you hold out and then you wait until there's an emergency break glass situation, because I will tell you, if you continue smacking people across the face with greatness, if there's even a gap of 6 months one day, people are going to come for you. Why didn't you save it? you know what I'm saying? So I hope that it works out. But I think this possibly is much ado about nothing.
I mean, listen, again, a fun conversation. It just popped up right before we went live. I saw it. I figured, you know what? Let's talk about it. And whether it comes to fruition or not, I don't know. And the whole Spider-Man thing. Listen, folks, I said this, to Kay and to Hargeet. I said, and I actually might have even said it the other day when we were talking about this. Either it's the greatest troll of all time, and I think that it would actually outdo This Is How You Share Games by Insomniac Games, or it's coming to Xbox. Whether that's true or not, is it likely? No. I mean, does Sony like money? Yes. Is Hiroki Totoki making the calls? Yes. Has it already been ported by Nixxes to PC? It actually has. And could that be ported to Xbox easily? It could. So again, I know it's not the topic of conversation. Again, and people, they come for you. It's fine. I just laugh it off because people really get in their feels. Like, how dare you say my Spider-Man's coming to your shit box?
Wow.
it's awful. But real quick, we have 2 super chats and we'll get everyone out of here. Do UK now, the broke boy insider. Will, great to see you here as always. Thank you for the generosity. He goes, it's funny watching some say, well, the Asus handheld won't play your entire Xbox library. The PlayStation 5 doesn't play your entire PS library either. I mean, you're not wrong, but I just think that people are just ridiculous. I really do. There was another super chat. JD Gamer drops an additional, very generous $2 super chat. And he says, here's a topic. Give PlayStation some smoke for Ben Studios layoffs. I mean, we actually talked about that briefly. I got news for you. Again, we're going to get on out of here, and this is not really a topic, but folks, I got some real concern for Ben Studios. And here's why. They haven't released a game since 2019, which was Days Gone. Days Gone is an amazing game. They wanted to make Days Gone 2. I said this on Monday's show. It might have been Monday's show. I honestly believe that Ben Studios was on a path to see them really take Days Gone 2 to a level that you saw happen with Naughty Dog from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2. I honestly believe that. Do I know that for a fact? No, I'm not. I'm not making the game, but just based on how they talked about it, that's the impression I got. They didn't get a chance to do that, right? And obviously, the head of the studio at the time came out and was like super pissed about it. Well, they just had a 30% reduction in their staff for layoffs, not counting what potentially could be happening. And their game that they were working on was Deep Six. What do you do with the studio that hasn't put a game out since 2019, and the game that they've been working on for years was just canceled? What do you do? What do you do with that studio? Do you close them, or do you have them with Nixxes port over Days Gone to Xbox, which Nixxes just did? They just ported that game over, the Game of the Year edition, to PC. Port it over to Xbox and sell it. I got news for you. I think more PlayStation games are coming, and I actually can't wait for that to happen. Not because I'm going to throw it in anyone's face or I'm looking for that smoke. The conversation around they'll never do first single player games is going to be out the door. That's going to end because it's goalpost moving 101. First it was MLB The Show. Oh, they were forced. Then it was Kojima's game, Death Stranding. Oh, that was Kojima wanted, 505 games. And now it was Helldivers 2. Oh, well, it makes sense now, Boom. Even though you said it earlier, no one believed you because it's a multiplayer game, right? It makes sense. I'm telling you, folks, it's happening. I don't know what game is going to be first, but when it does, I'm going to clip myself and put this on the socials. Just FYI. I'm going to clip myself and put it up there just so people can be like, yeah, you see, Boom was right. But yeah, that's here nor there. Anyway, Hargi Chani, let's sell the brand, brother. You have a YouTube channel.
That you got another super chat, by the way.
We did. Okay, let me get it in here. Okay. Okay, so JD Gamer drops an additional two. I did not see this, JD Gamer. DC guy, which you know who he is apparently blaming Xbox for the virtuous layoffs equals crack. You should have written cocaine because, yeah, Virtuous just announced a bunch of layoffs.
I thought he was a meth head. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's something. He's something from what I understand. I mean, no smoke, but yeah, Virtuous, who did the Oblivion remake, and they're also doing Snake Eater, which of course is Metal Gear Solid 3, had a bunch of layoffs. I don't know how you blame Xbox if these are two multiplats. Now, one is continuously selling. I mean, it was in the top five of most sold games for the month of May. So it has nothing to do with Xbox. I hope he's not. But that's if he is.
I mean, they also worked on Horizon. Do we care? No, not really. Look, forget it. They're a support studio. Yeah. They scale up and scale down as needed, right? So yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, whatever.
Man, I really hope he's not running with that, but he probably is. It's fine. Hargi Chani, let's sell the brand, brother. You got a YouTube channel. I'd like to see you continue your march towards 2K, right? Obviously, you got to 1K earlier this year. 2K is next. Obviously, we keep going up. We keep moving towards the next number. But you also wrote a book last year called Emergence, ladies and gentlemen. You wrote a book. It's like Mass Effect. You like Mass Effect, you're probably going to like this book. And you can also find them on not social media, but you can find them on other platforms where if you want to, reach out and get a message to them, you can do that. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people do all of those things? Potentially buy your book, subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, not find you on social media. I love doing
Thank
that.
God. Yeah, so my channel's Huggy21. Check it out if you want to. Shop.shiny.us if you want to pick up my book. And yeah, if you I'll be on with C Money and Doodle on Friday, 8-ish p.m. US Eastern Time. Check that out if you want to on Point for Gamers. And we're still not going to be doing the GameStop Live podcast with Fonz because, of course, he's still moving. And they're having fun out there moving. There's a lot of work to do. He'll get his situation all set when he's ready. We'll probably come back in August. But and then with Web Dave on Sunday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. Check that out. And we'll be back next week to see how Xbox is dead again.
I mean, listen, you know what's unbelievable? We say this every year. Like, you think that the summertime, it starts to slow down with news. It hasn't. It has just been one powder keg after another. Some of it bad, obviously. A couple weeks ago and again, it's just a running. Unfortunately, it's a running narrative with the layoffs. It's not. It's Xbox. They did what they did, but it's other companies as well. Virtuous is a perfect example of that, and it sucks, man. It sucks as people lose their job, but we got to try and keep it light, and we can talk about those things, but we got to keep it about gaming. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about gaming and get excited about it. And like I said before, there is no better time to be a gamer. It's just not. I mean, there's just so many games, and they come in all forms, shapes, sizes, prices. I mean, my potential game of the year is now mucked up because it was avowed and still is avowed, but I'm playing a game that was $10 and I'm having so much fun with it that I know it was out on PC earlier, but I'm not a PC guy, so it's on console now, and it's just, my God, it's amazing. But Asante, let's sell the brand, brother. You got a show coming up, and I don't know if you're doing a show. Is it this week? Or I know that there's one weekend you're not going to be doing the show.
Yeah. That is actually coming up this weekend because myself and Everborn Saga will be in Miami. He is actually driving right now. He just finally finished. He was driving 2 days.
Wow.
Him in the Cybertruck drove 2 days from New York to Miami. So he's now in Miami. He's going to set up his wares, and if you happen to be in Miami, join us at the Miami Convention Center, and we will be there this weekend, and I'll be there Saturday, most likely, hanging out with the brother and hanging out at the Miami Convention. DreamCon is the venue. So if you happen to be in the area and you want to come check us out, absolutely come do so. I think even John Wolf might jump on, and he might
nice.
Join us. So it'll be a good time, see some people in real life, it'll be a fun time. So yeah,
IRL, as the kids like to say.
absolutely, yeah, so yeah, we won't have GCP this weekend, but there's more to come there. We're planning some interesting things, but this weekend will be no GCP for that. Boom, you were talking about your game of the year. Right now, my game of the year is Bionic Bay, rather.
Bionic Bay. You told me about that. That's on PS5. Right.
Hargeet knows what he's talking about. He and I played it at PAX East. But Hargeet, I've started actually playing that game proper. I can't put it down. It is a masterpiece.
Nice.
Wow.
It's a masterpiece. Nice. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's mine.
Well, there you go. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, a big thank you to nearly well over 400 people here. And again, it's the summertime. People are away. People are on vacation. So the numbers, they start to go down. The opening salvo topic, I am going to cut into a video because obviously there was a lot of really good stuff there. And sometimes you don't want to sit through a 90-minute plus show. I'll cut it down, and the video seems to be working. People are really enjoying it. So look forward. I'll do that tomorrow. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I'll be sitting down with C Money, as I always do. We have some. I'm literally writing that show as we speak. So a big thank you to everyone that tuned in today. That either watched it live or going to watch it on video on demand. If you're still here and you're not subbed, please consider subscribing to the channel, as Mrs. Boom and I are now on the hunt for 17K. And before you get on that here, folks, hit the like button because that actually does help, believe it or not. And, of course, I'm going to close the show with something that's incredibly important to me, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you, and that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you, you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends. Gentlemen, great